All right. And we are live. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to another Ask Me Anything live stream. We're going to do our typical housekeeping, just making sure the audio is good. Let me just do that real quick. So far, sounds good. And let's throw on some music. Let's see. Maybe try some lounge music this time around. See how this sounds. It's kind of upbeat. Maybe let's try to chill. This could work. This could work. You guys let me know if you like that too. Okay, so volume's good. We'll jump right in just a second. Okay, looks good. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Let me close the music here. Do my typical plugs. So welcome to another monthly live stream. I try to answer questions and engage with the community as much as possible. If you have questions, you can always submit these over to briankfung.com/AMA, and I'll try to get to those questions on these live streams. But even better than that is always, if you'd like to, you can always ask your questions live, which makes it much more fun and dynamic. And if you want, actually, I forgot to mention this in the last couple live streams, but if you're interested in jumping onto the live stream live, you're welcome to do that as well, which let me actually just share that. I'll post that in the chat. And if you jump on that chat, you can actually join in on the live stream right now. So much more fun to engage with people live versus just like answering questions, things like that. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into the questions. We'll start with the very first one. Let me go grab it. I'm actually running a little late today just because I had a really early dentist appointment, and then I took one of those adult naps. So it was just crashed for a little bit. Okay, so the first question is from MC, and it looks rather long. I don't know if I'll be able to actually post all of this, but let me, it's pretty long. I'll post the very end of it, and I'll go ahead and read through the question. So let's see. The question actually looks to only be one question, so I'm gonna go ahead and post the question here. Add. Cool. I think there's it. Okay, so I'm gonna read the question. So the question is, hi Brian, I've held a position as a Willow inpatient architect at a Florida health system for 2 years now. I have a Willow inpatient cert and a handful of badges: alternatives, med warnings, data courier mover, BPA basics. Prior to taking on my current role, I have worked as an inpatient clinical pharmacist at a neighboring health system. They also use Epic, with experience in inpatient oncology, 2 years, ED trauma, 2 years, and orthopedics, 2 years. I also have experience as an end user with Willow Ambulatory and in. I was an end user. Hold on. I was a end user during implementation of both. I earned BCPS in 2019, and I have completed several ASHP certificates, including the Pharmacy Informatics certificate, earned in 2023. My organization went live with Epic in June 2022, and prior to that, they did not have pharmacy representation in the IT department. They had Cerner. They are now required by Epic to have pharmacists on the team, and I was told by a higher up that this is the only reason I am here today in my current position. That's actually very disappointing to hear. I am an employee of the IT department and am very separated from the pharmacy department, and I am discouraged from giving my opinion from the perspective of a pharmacist. I am told I am not supposed to tell others that I am a pharmacist, I was even given a hard time for adding my credentials to my email signature in Outlook. This is very strange. The pharmacy department itself is also very behind. For example, they just started implementing a pharmacist-driven vancomycin dosing protocol and a warfarin dosing protocol in late 2023. I really appreciate you and the fact that you've documented your journey on YouTube, through residency, and beyond. Last month, I watched all your videos. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate that. More views, and I'm glad that they've been helpful. I really helped home for me when you and your colleagues stated several times in your videos that as pharmacists and IT, we are pharmacists and pharmacy first. 100%. I understand that my current employer is very outdated in their practices, opinions, and organizational structure, and I realize that every health system structures their IT department differently, so I have hope. LOL. For these reasons, and I am sure you can imagine many more, now that I have gained 2 years of experience with fellow inpatient, I am looking for other opportunities. I've been really discouraged for the last year or so, and the content in your videos really inspired me to make a change. And this is where the question comes in. Can you recommend anything else that I can do to add to my CV to make it more attractive to hiring managers as I look for other pharmacy informatics job opportunities? I have registered for ASHP mid-year and plan to attend this year to network. Thank you. All right, cool. Cool beans. There's a lot here, but I think I have an idea of the direction. Oh wait, there's someone on camera. 1 second. Is there Mick? Mick, are you there? Is this Mick? Chat, where's the chat? Mick? Can you hear me, Mick? Oh, there you are. Are you joining in on the live stream here? Ah, I see. Okay. Well, if you fix the camera and sound issues, you should appear on the live stream alongside me. Yeah. Feel free to speak up once that works. Let me actually make this a little smaller then. Where is the other one? Oh, okay. No worries. Let me actually turn this back down. All right. Well, Mick was just testing the platform. So let's move on and continue asking the question here. So the main question, which let me go back to the question again, is, do you still recommend? Okay, here it is. So here's the question again. Recommend anything else to add to my CV to make it more attractive to hiring managers as I look for pharmacy informatics job opportunities? Okay, so a couple things that I will say. The first thing is, if you're looking for other like related roles or similar roles, let's say in pharmacy informatics at a hospital, then that will be a very different thing than the types of roles that I'm in now. And I think I'll share both of those. And so the difference is, if you're applying to other pharmacy informatics roles at other hospitals, be it Cerner, looks like you have Cerner experience, or Epic, or even other commercial EHRs, be it Athena, Meditech, Allscripts, things like that, I don't imagine there are too much more to add. And the reason why I say that is because you have a pretty good amount of experience that I see already. Practice experience, diversity of experience. You actually have some pretty unique Epic certifications as well. Like many people have the, let's see, what was it again? Alternatives, med warnings, BPA basics. A lot of the pharmacists I know did those. I did those myself. Data courier is pretty unique. There's not too many that have that. I know a few that did, but not too many. So I'm saying from that perspective, you have good experience from the Epic configuration side, you have practice experience, you have some certifications, and you have your BCPS. I think you're pretty well suited to apply to any other pharmacy informatics position, and probably very competitive as well. So in terms of adding other things, I'm not sure if it's more attractive. And maybe the thing to dig into deeper here is I'm wondering why you're asking that question, because are you not hearing back if you're already applying, and is your application getting rejected? So in those cases, there may be some more things to add there. But otherwise, I wouldn't say there's much more to add. Seems like you're doing a pretty good job. I imagine it's great. The things now, maybe I'll say, is some of the more informatics or healthcare adjacent roles, which I'll spend like 2 minutes talking about. And so what I mean by that is, let me open my thing and share my screen. I see Lyrics has a question. I'll get to you in just a second. Let me share my screen. There's some lag here, so bear with me. It's very laggy. Oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, wrong screen. This screen. Okay. Go into presentation mode. Sorry guys, there's some very odd lag going on with Restream. Wow. I don't know if you guys can even hear me right now. Okay, here we go. Now it's back. Let me turn off the ticker. Maybe that's part of the issue. Okay. All right. So going back to the question is, oh, great. Let me turn this on. Hold on. Let me go into this. Sorry, guys. Lots of barriers today. You know what? And let me go. Great. I'm just going to go into the repository. Okay. So I'm talking about healthcare or informatics adjacent roles. If you're talking about applying for jobs in these other spaces, so outside of a traditional hospital or healthcare space, let's say it's industry like pharma or tech or federal government or consulting or some other type of role, then I think there's much more to say about that in terms of what you can do to your CV. And I think the first thing is, so this usually I would have on the website, but looks like that's down right now. I created this originally with the intent of showing the different types of roles that are out there for those of us who are pharmacists or other domain experts. Just basically anyone that has a healthcare background and you're interested in like an adjacent role. It's usually not a direct patient facing role, but more so like a technology or informatics type role. And part of the idea is to show that, look at the titles. They're very different than what you might expect. Maybe you're not interested in some of these, and that's okay. but helping folks to branch out a bit from what is typically a pharmacy informatics type role. And some of them have very different titles. You have biomedical informatics, you have medical informatics, clinical producer, perhaps clinical specialist. And these are Apple. There's product managers. Pharmacy informatics folks actually make really good product managers as well. So that's something to consider. There's different product manager roles. You have solution architects. You have clinical consulting. These are another informatics roles. But basically, what I'm saying here in terms of like not really adding to your CV, but looking at other types of roles that may be of interest in you, especially if you're looking for other jobs. Highly encourage you to check them out. There's a lot of very interesting roles out there. ASHP, I know you said you registered for ASHP mid-year. I think it was later this year. Let me see. Yeah, ASHP mid-year. That's always a good place to network. They're usually just more pharmacy oriented, and maybe that's what you're looking for. PPS would have been my preference. I always am a huge fan of attending PPS and just networking with every single table that I see there. That's always a really good opportunity to network with people. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. And let's go to the questions in the chat. Let's see. Lyrics say, I need help in writing a personal statement. Those are always really challenging. It always takes me a lot of time to write personal statements. And then I'm an international pharmacist applying to Masters in Public Health. Oh, very nice, at Tulane University. Yeah, there's usually different opportunities, like resources out there. It doesn't look like you're affiliated with any schools right now. I was gonna say usually schools have great resources to help with writing personal statements. I personally don't do this anymore just because there's so many requests that I don't have the time to help everyone with personal statements. What I would say though is that two things. One is many schools, especially public health schools, have resources that say what should go into the personal statement and what they're looking for. I applied to the one at Hopkins, and they have a great blog about how you should write your personal statement and what should go into there. So definitely check out the free resources on the sites that you're applying for. And then the other thing now is, I'm not encouraging it, but it's definitely a good idea generator, is using the different LLMs that are out there like ChatGPT or Claude. Not saying to write it, but more so to either check it, give you more inspiration. What I usually would like to do is create an outline of what story you want to tell, and then you can feed it to one of those to help revise and iterate on it. It's like a proofreader, if anything. The thing about slightly discouraging it is just because they come out very not human-like when you have them write those kind of things. So I'm not a huge fan of using it to write everything from scratch. But hopefully that's helpful. I'm unfortunately not available to help with any personal statements otherwise. All right, let's move on to the next question. Let's see. This one's pretty short. Let me go ahead and paste this in. Hopefully this is not too long. It's a little long. I'm just gonna post the second part of the question. Okay, so the question is, hi Brian, I saw your online videos and one of the video mentions pharmacists are able to work remotely as an informatics pharmacist or health informatics specialist. Does that mean being able to work anywhere in the world and time zones won't matter, or that it means work remotely anywhere in the US? It's an excellent question, and like most things, my default answer is going to be it depends. And there's a reasons for that. So directly to the question, well, actually, let me give you an example. When I was in my informatics training, I had the opportunity to work remote. I actually did this a few times when I was at University of Utah as a PGY2. It wasn't very common at all to do this kind of thing, but we would commonly have to go between different hospitals. And so it was not uncommon for me to work from one hospital, even though I was supposed to be at the other hospital. Or sometimes, this is usually, I think the only time I worked truly remote was actually when I was sick for like 3 or 4 days. And I just stayed at home and worked from there. And I say that because informatics roles in general tend to be remote friendly, because you don't necessarily have to be in the hospital. And usually there's either a separate building in the hospital or separate building even outside of the hospital that you can go to and work from if you desire. But in general, not always, and it kind of depends. When I was at Mayo, I did this pretty often. We worked remotely from all over the place because our hospitals are actually in 5 different states. And it was common to travel to the different states and then work remotely from there. My home base was Rochester, Minnesota. So it was very common for us to work remotely as an informatics pharmacist at Mayo. And I was at Mayo from 2015 to 2022. So remote work was very common. And there was a few times we traveled to different places, sometimes international, Europe and Asia, or 2 of them that I went to. And we worked remotely from there as well. And then currently, I'm not really I'm still an informatics pharmacist, but in my current role, when I travel, I carry my laptop. So you can say that's working remotely, but I don't think that's really like you would live somewhere and work remotely kind of thing. But I kind of went a little further away from the main question. Does that mean being able to work anywhere in the world and time zones don't matter, or work anywhere in the US? So the best answer I should have probably said here is it depends on your employer. And you should ask your employer, what does remote work mean? Because it's very common to have more of a hybrid approach now, where you may have to be located near the office. And so in that case, working remotely in the US probably means you have to be very close to the office. And working from somewhere else in the world probably is not possible. I know some people that work remotely from some other parts of the world, which is actually really cool, but it really depends on your employer. So I think the best thing here is any employer that you are interested in talking to or working with, just ask them, and they usually will tell you what their ability is for you to work remote. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Hopefully that was helpful. Let's go to hide this one. And the next question is about a master's program. Let me see. This might be a little too long. I'll read the whole question again. Okay. So the question is, I hope this message finds you well. I completed a bachelor's in dental surgery. I am planning to pursue a master's in health informatics in the US. Given your extensive experience in this field, I would greatly value your insights. Could you please share your recommendations for universities offering this program? Additionally, I'm interested in understanding the current job market for health informatics professionals in the US and exploring the various career opportunities available after completing a master's in health informatics. Your advice on this would be incredibly helpful, and I look forward to your response. This is a great question. I don't know if I actually have the best answer here for a couple of reasons, but one in particular is I personally don't have a master's in health informatics. So I can't really speak to the universities that offer the program or the job opportunities available after. So giving that as a disclaimer, I strongly believe in taking advice from people that have been there, and I have personally not been there. So please take what I say with a grain of salt here. I can add a couple of top of mind thoughts to this question though, and hopefully that's helpful, but please do talk to people that have actually pursued a master's of health informatics to get better insights in this case. So I think in terms of universities offering this program, since you're coming to the US, one of the things that's very common is using different ranking systems. And there's different systems out there that would say what is the best school for a particular field. And for Masters in Informatics, I imagine there's one here as well. So I'm going to try this sharing screen again. It might freeze. Looks like it already froze. Okay. It is freezing already. Great. I think there's something going on with Restream because this is really bad. Okay, I cannot share this. I'm taking a sip of coffee. Okay, we're back. So I cannot share my screen because it's gonna just keep doing that freezing thing. I need to submit a ticket to Restream to figure out what's going on there because that's really bad. What I will say is, let me post it in the chat. There's different ranking systems out there, and you can use them. U.S. News and Report. Oh, let me do you one better. And U.S. News and Report. Masters in Health Informatics. U.S. News and Report best colleges. Okay. So if I was looking for a informatics program, I'm going to post those in the chat. I would use various ranking systems out there to get an idea of what programs are reputable and have good experience. Let's see. Posting it there. In US News Report, there's every one of these ranking systems have their own methodology. US News and Report is usually my first place I go to. There's a lot of bias in their methodology and how they rank. Some of it is due to just perception. So every one of these systems have their own biases. Just keep that in mind. What I usually do is I look for a variety of different ranking systems. But US News and Report is always a good place that I like to start in the US. So what I would do is I'll just search US News and Report best Masters in Health Informatics programs. Masters in Health Informatics. And here is what I found. I'm going to post it here and post it in LinkedIn as well. So if I look at this one, so this one's specific for online. There's probably another one for not online. But for online health informatics programs, they have on here. I wish I could share my screen. This is really, really annoying. Online program. Actually, here, let me try to find another. I'll actually use another one. So if you Google search just best health informatics, Masters in Health Informatics programs, you'll find a variety of these systems. Forbes is another one. I don't know if I really use Forbes, but there's a bunch of different things. And basically what I like to do is use all of these to figure out what is a program that seems like everyone is mentioning and then look into those programs. So Forbes, on this case, looks like they listed a couple. They have Johns Hopkins, Northwestern, Drexel, Logan, DePaul, University of Scranton, Regis, Adelphi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Franklin, and University of San Diego. So that's the first part of your question. Looking at different programs, definitely check out different systems, look to see what they recommend, and then choose the best one that seems to be a fit there. In terms of the job market for health informatics professionals, I actually don't know. A good place to look for that kind of information usually is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I don't remember if they have one for informatics. I know Amia was working on a thing there. Search. Let me see if they have informatics. BLS job report. I wish I there's a way to look at the... Can I search this? Oh, healthcare. Yeah, I should be searching this. So I'll just give an example here, but I would check this out. This one's for pharmacists, but go on the website and check out any type of informatics or healthcare informatics type roles. I don't remember if they have a good category for it. Like I said, Amy was working on better capturing the pharmacy, but the clinical informatics or healthcare informatics workforce. And I believe they got a new category for that. But because it's so new, I don't know if there's a lot of data on it. But I think that's a good place, because if you look at the one for pharmacists on there, you can, it shows a prediction of whether or not the job outlook is good or bad. And you can usually look at the statistics for the job outlook. Like for pharmacists right now, it says it's growing at 5%, and then they give you a interpretation of that, which means they're saying as fast as average. So if you see a negative, which pharmacist was at a couple years ago, then that would be a bad sign. But top of mind thoughts here is that the job market's probably good, especially because, well, good is relative. I think it's better than average. And I say that because of all the new hype around artificial intelligence, especially large language models, and applying it in various domains, healthcare being one of them. And informatics folks is at this unique intersection of both technology and clinical. And I think there's a lot of opportunity if you're interested in that space. So I would think it's better than average is my, uneducated guess. And then I guess that kind of answers the next question too, is like the career opportunities after completing. I would think that there's ample opportunities out there. The job market in the US right now is just not great though. Lots of different things, and I guess all over the world as well, with the inflation, post-COVID, stuff like that. But definitely network. Your education is only one part of it. The other piece is definitely your network and making sure you're talking to people and finding those opportunities as well. Okay, I think that was the last part of the question. Chat. Oops. Okay. Going back to the chat. Nothing else on the chat. I think that might conclude it. And we're already a few minutes over. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Please do submit your questions to brianfung.com/AMA. And see you guys next month. Take care.